Hi, I'm Aaron from Authentic Roots in Martial Arts, where I break down basic martial arts concepts to help with developing a level of competency and application of those concepts, integrating them seamlessly into your martial arts practice without all the drama. Today I'm going to be looking at what is energy in martial arts. What is the difference between strength, power and energy? First of all, in martial arts, in particular Eastern martial arts, we always talk about cardinal and ordinal directions. Think of yourself as a compass trying to orient yourself in your natural environment. That requires movement and energy. Like a car, it can't move without energy, and without an engine and axis and wheels, it won't move. So by extension, talking about angles, how we position ourselves as matter in space and time to gain a mechanical advantage. Now, energy is a property of matter in physics. Without energy, nothing would move, like the car. So you have to understand a little physics, such as the relationship between force, velocity, acceleration, position, and so forth. Always keep that in mind when trying to get the concept in your head and in application. So how can we break this down simply? Well, when I've been practicing martial arts, often the concept of energy comes up multiple times and how to harness its power effectively in martial arts. If asked a question on something related to energy, such as which technique is strongest, I would always answer and say, it's relative. As to me, context was everything, and the instructor would usually just go on and say what he wanted to say, and that was it. So being able to assess a situation, change and consider all the angles became more important to me to get the big picture. So I've always studied other martial arts in my training over time. Nature also has become one of my greatest teachers, as only through understanding the fundamental laws of nature can you start to understand movement and explain its subtle nuances. The basic concept of energy can be defined as work performed on an object, transferring energy using power. So here, as an example, we've got the inertia balls here, and here we can see how energy is conserved as a force is placed onto the objects. The energy is carried to the last ball, and if you do two, so you increase the force, two balls, and it goes on like that in a line. So the ball transfers down the line and so increasing the power of work. So you also have to stand the laws of inertia, or being still, which is why forms are also practiced slowly or standing still. Inertia still exerts a force to keep the object still. So even when it's still here. So the more massive the object, like explained here with one ball or two ball, the more massive it is, the more inertia there exists. So the more hard it is to move, really. But we're talking about transfer of energy. So how energy moves and changes form. So in Chinese martial arts, the term Qigong is often used interchangeably, which the word Qigong split up means literally to work on energy. So power is relative to the object being moved. For example, how much energy will it take to move an object? and you're also an object. So that I'm an object, you're an object as a training partner. So you've got to be smart. So we're working with different energies when we're training with different training partners with levels of different levels of abilities, strength, and so forth. So in Wing Chun, for example, when we're talking about energy, we can say transference of energy being the operative word here. The more energy we can transfer, the more power is involved, the harder we have to work. So it's more about how we work with that energy in any given situation. So knowing when to use power by transferring energy and how that transference takes place, we can begin to work with that energy in a way that works to our advantage. So if energy carries on going in a set motion, unless a force changes it, that is, acts upon that motion, working against gravity or an opposing force, and that inertia is actually meaning lacking the skill or art to move. So martial art skills. So martial arts skills is all about movement. We must understand movement, although potentially we can learn to store energy, appear still when we're actually ready to move, like firing the engine, getting it, warming it up. So taking examples, so we say energy on the bong in Wing Chun. So this energy is relative to how much the object we're trying to move, so the opponent's arm or a strike in Wing Chun. Yeah, so it's relative to the object we're trying to move. So how much energy do we need to move that object, to displace that object? Either negative or positive displacement, using the shortest path possible. Or we can orbit, move around the object, find an alternative path of least resistance, use leverage and so forth to maximize our ability to move and gain an advantage. So it's relative to the resistance, gravity and force input-output. It's not all about strength then and meeting resistance head on directly. We can be smart about this. So you can use avoidance, evasive movements, exploiting position, acceleration and so forth, all come into play and are all related. So let's be clear on this, energy is relative. We can become efficient at using energy to turn power on and off last minute. Also working on our power, sometimes we need to exploit areas of less energy, maybe on the object that we're facing. Use sensitivity, not wasting any movement, making it too big. So we're exploiting the shortest path. We pick up speed, eliminating the distance. So speed comes into play. Use their energy against them, and so forth are all viable strategies in the art of war. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, like, share and comment below. And remember, there's no drama in armour. Gravity, 'cause I found